fluir. Fluir means to flow. Fluir and to flow are quite similar. They look a bit similar. Obviously different words, but quite similar. I don't know. I think it is quite similar. Fluir means to flow. We can be talking literally about some flow, flowing, something flowing, or it can be also something not tangible, like ideas, like love, like, feelings and whatnot. So fluir, you can use that verb for that. Let's look at some examples. El agua fluye por el río. El agua fluye por el río. Okay, so this means water flows down the river. The water flows down the river. So agua, el agua, this is quite good. I mean, quite confusing too. El agua looks like it's feminine because we have so many A letters there. Well, just two. But it's actually masculine. It's a masculine noun. So you gotta say el agua, not la agua. Okay? That's incorrect. Just remember that. El agua means water. Okay? Water, el agua. El agua. Fluye. We have the verb fluir here. Fluye means flows. Por el río. In English, you would say down the river. In Spanish, it's like saying, in the river, or the water is contained in the river, right? I know that en means in Spanish, but when you say por el río, you're just talking about the whole river, okay? It's a common thing to say por el río, por el camino, por la avenida. So you're just referring to the long path, okay? Interesting. It's very interesting how it works. I'm saying interesting so many times. Muy interesante. The next example is, ¿por qué no fluirá el tráfico? ¿Por qué no fluirá el tráfico? Tráfico, remember, you need the accent mark here on the letter A, tráfico, and that means traffic. If you say tráfico, you're saying traffic. And I don't know what you're talking about if you say that. I don't know what you are talking about when you say that, because it's like saying you're trading or something like that. So it can be a quite interesting thing to say. But tráfico means traffic. We're talking about some traffic somewhere. The whole sentence means, why isn't a traffic flowing? There's some traffic jam? I don't know. So you're wondering, why isn't it traffic flowing? Why are we stuck here? You're not liking the situation, right? You just want to know why. Maybe there was some car accident somewhere, somewhere ahead of you. You don't know. Maybe bad weather. Who knows? ¿Por qué no? ¿Por qué no means why not? Usually, if you say why, ¿por qué no? ¿Por qué no? If someone says, vamos a la fiesta, let's go to the party, you can say, ¿por qué no? Why not? Right? But ¿por qué no also can mean why isn't, and then ... Fluirá in this situation means flowing. I know that this is in future tense, but this is something common in Spanish. ¿Por qué no fluirá? ¿Por qué no correrá? ¿Por qué no trabajará? Okay? Funcionará. So it's a very common thing to have por qué no and then a verb in future tense. Okay? And it's like saying, why isn't something happening? But I know it makes not much sense because we're talking about future tense, but that's how it works in Spanish. That's how it works. There's that's the structure we need when using por qué no. Por qué no and then future tense verb. Conjugated, a verb conjugated in future tense. El tráfico. Traffic. Okay? ¿Por qué no fluirá el tráfico? Okay? So that's quite complex, but it's not that difficult to understand. Let's have another example here. I know we're talking about fluir, but I want you to understand the structure, the sentence structure. ¿Por qué no comerá mi perro? Okay? This means, why isn't my dog eating? In English, you need eating, right? In Spanish, we need comerá, future tense, comerá, right here. Comerá, similar to eating in this specific situation, because if I say, ¿por qué no comiendo? That's the literal translation of eating. ¿Por qué no comiendo mi perro? That makes zero sense in Spanish, because the gerund, like this part, comiendo, bebiendo, trabajando, that is, we're talking about something that is happening right now. And I know that it sounds like the dog is not eating, so it makes sense. But in this structure, in this question, you need comerá. So it's an exception, you know. So it's a very important thing to understand and to learn how to use por qué no, and then, you know, the whole structure. Comerá mi perro. Why isn't my dog eating? So just remember that. That's a good tip to know when speaking Spanish. Okay, so in this case, we're talking about fluir, right? Let me just... Yeah, that's what I wanted to do. ¿Por qué no fluirá el tráfico? Why isn't traffic flowing? And that's an interesting thing to know. Fluirá, fluye, and we're talking about flow, okay? Fluir means to flow.